In this module, I just want to touch briefly on PPC, which stands for pay-per-click. This is an advertising tool that's within Amazon where you actually pay to show up on certain keywords or could be on certain keywords that people are searching for, it could be on other competitors' pages. It's a very important aspect of selling on Amazon. We're going to go into extreme detail on this later on in the course, but right now I just want to plant the seed that how important this is to keep in mind when you're actually searching for products and how competitive things can be in some of these spaces with PPC. You know, Amazon has become more of a pay-to-play platform than it used to be. It used to be almost everything was what's called organic. And so there's two types of results typically on Amazon. There's organic results and there's paid results. And they're blended together. And the average consumer sometimes doesn't even realize this when they're searching on Amazon to buy something. They don't notice the little sponsored name that appears sometimes on some of the results. And they get mixed in, sometimes at the top, sometimes in the middle, sometimes at the end. Amazon plays with it all the time. So organic results basically means that you didn't pay to show up. You've created a listing that's got the right keywords in it. It's demonstrated that it's relevant for whatever the person is searching for. You've had sales in the past based on that keyword, so Amazon shows the product basically for free. And that's what you're striving to do. You're striving always to get at least 70 to 80% of your sales on Amazon to come as organic and 20 to 30% to come as paid. That's your target goal. It's not always possible to get those ratios, but that should be your target goal. And Amazon's increasingly making it more difficult by introducing new placements and new PPC tools that's taken up more and more of the real estate to where you're actually having to pay to show up. And it wouldn't surprise me at some point if it becomes almost all pay to show up. But right now, organic is still an important aspect. And because you don't have to pay for the organic stuff, you can make more money on sales that you get organically. So it's the holy grail for anybody is to rank organically in one of those top few positions on a search term versus having to pay for it. If you do have to pay for it, that's okay, as long as you're still making a good profit. And that's where we talked about the ACoS and the TACoS earlier, and we'll go into a lot more detail about that later. As long as you know those numbers of what you're actually spending in advertising to generate those sales and it's profitable for you, that's okay. But the advertising side on Amazon has become a multi-billion-dollar industry. It started off pretty small and it's grown rapidly into tens of billions of dollars in revenue for Amazon. So they're super high on this and really emphasizing and trying to milk this for everything they can. Where PPC can get very, very expensive is if you're in a competitive category, like say supplements or pets. Typically, the PPC costs in those categories are pretty high versus other categories like sports or home and kitchen might be a little bit more reasonable and lower. Every year, the PPC costs tend to be going up on Amazon because there's more and more people actually using it, and you have a combination of sophisticated people using it as well as people who don't know what they're doing, and they're throwing the bids out of whack. When you're doing PPC on Amazon, it's not about who's willing to spend the most money. That is a factor, how much money you're willing to spend, and it's a bidding system. So everything's based on a bid, but it's a bidding system plus. It's a bidding system plus how well do you convert. So Amazon, even if you're willing to pay $10 for a click, if that click doesn't lead to a sale, Amazon doesn't want to continue to show you. They rather show someone that maybe they offered to pay $4 for the click and it actually led to a sale, because Amazon will make the $4 on the click and they'll make a commission on the sale. And even if that commission is less than $6, the difference between you paying 10 and 4, they have a happy customer. And the customers had a better experience and found what they like. So the algorithm doesn't work completely logically, like who bids the most wins. But when you bid the most, Amazon will give you a shot. So when you place a high bid, Amazon's going to put you up at the top and see if it works or not. And they're going to give you a chance. But quickly, if it doesn't work and you're getting clicks or no clicks and no sales, they're going to move you down, and your advertising is going to be much less effective. So when you're launching a new product, the PPC is an important aspect for several reasons. One is it validates your product. You're bidding on keywords and you're proving to Amazon's algorithm that you are indeed truly relevant for those keywords, because if people click, if they do a search for ab roller, they buy on the word ab roller, your product, that tells Amazon indeed your product is relevant for people searching for ab roller. So it gives them a little clue. So that's helpful. So when you first launch a product, you're going to want to spend excessively on PPC in most cases. Only time you don't need to do that is on very low competition products, where sometimes you can even get away with no PPC or very low PPC. But in most categories and most products on Amazon, when you first launch, you're going to have to spend some money on PPC. It may be right when you first launch, or it may be within the first month, depending on your strategy. There's a couple of different techniques there and strategies, but expect to spend a heavy dose. I hear people say, I'm going to spend $20 or $30 a day on PPC. That's not going to get you anywhere in today's world on Amazon. I typically put a budget of about $500 a day. Now, a lot of times I don't spend that. I only spend $100, but I typically put it pretty high and then monitor it very, very closely, because when you first launch on Amazon, you got to prove that you're relevant to the algorithm, and PPC is one way to do that. There are other ways too to do that, and the number of reviews you have also can affect your PPC. So sometimes some people aren't comfortable starting their advertising when they have 0 reviews, because they're afraid that a lot of people are going to click, but they don't trust to buy because there haven't been any reviews. So there's kind of a chicken and an egg situation on Amazon, and we're going to talk about that more in the future. But there's tools like Helium 10 has the Atomic tool, which will really help you manage your ads. So if you tie that into your Seller Central ad account, they can help you manage your ads in a much easier and more friendly way than what Amazon does if you're going into Seller Central. So that's a great tool to go check out in your Helium 10 membership once you're ready. On paid advertising, there's a number of different ways Amazon allows you to actually do ads. And we'll talk about these more in later modules. But one of them is through banner ads. You'll see banners up at the top of the page, like long rectangles. You'll see sidebar ads. You'll see sponsored ads, and those are the ones that say sponsored on them. They usually show up in the actual search results. Sometimes you'll see ads on your competitors' pages, right below the buy box. Sometimes you'll see ads down at the bottom of the page that says sponsored ads related to this product. You'll see a whole list of ads down there, and they'll show them on your competition's product listings. Those can be really great, and there's a tool called product targeting with that, where you can actually target your competitors' products and actually make your ads show up there and hopefully try to steal away a sale. There's also something called DSP, which is a very advanced technique where Amazon will actually follow people onto other platforms. So they come onto Amazon, they look at your competition's product, and Amazon knows whether they bought or not. And then let's say they go over to some news site, CNN or BBC or something like that, and all of a sudden an ad shows up on that site for your product because they know that you looked at your competition's product. That's a more advanced type of advertising that some of the bigger sellers are using. So there's all kinds of sophisticated tools on Amazon to run ads. But it can be I want you to keep in mind, it can be very expensive at first when you're first launching your product, because the ad cost is just something you're just going to have to build into your budget to get that initial momentum that you're going to need to really launch your product. You can actually see how competitive something is by using like the magnet tool or the Cerebro tool from Helium 10. It will actually show you on any given keyword how many ads that they've detected running on that keyword. And so on some keywords, you'll see a really high number. That means it's very, very competitive. That means the bids are probably going to be pretty high. Other keywords, you may see a very low number. That means that Helium 10, at the time that they checked, didn't detect too many ads. It's a very dynamic thing, so it's not always exactly accurate, but it'll give you a rough idea of the competition level when it comes to advertising and how hard it's going to be to launch on any given thing. And one of the things that I do when I'm actually evaluating products is when I'm using the X-ray tool to evaluate products, there's a little filter there, a little button that you can hit to filter, and I filter out the sponsored ads, because when I'm doing product analysis, I like to see who's ranking organically, because that's what my ultimate goal is to be ranked organically. And I don't want to see the results from people who are paying to be in that position. As of this time, I want to see who's organically in that position. And we'll go into more of that when we actually start showing you some of the product research stuff. But I just wanted to give you this little basic overview of advertising, and it's an extremely important aspect on Amazon. Now, there's also Facebook advertising that people are doing, other outside advertising. Some people run Google ads. That's a whole different thing. But within the Amazon ecosystem, PPC is vitally important, and it plays a major factor in the products that you choose and how you're going to launch them, and how successful it's going to be, and how much it may take to actually get a product off the ground. So I hope this has helped you, and we'll see you again soon.